Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. Today we're taking a deep look at one of France's most impressive warships, the battleship Richelieu. This ship had a crazy journey, escaping invasion, fighting early mechanical problems, and getting rebuilt in America, then serving across multiple oceans. There's a lot to cover, so let's jump right into it. Richelieu was laid down in 1935 at a time when Europe's naval powers were racing to build modern capital ships. Italy had the Richelieu class coming together slowly. Germany was working on Bismarck. France couldn't afford to fall behind, so they designed Richelieu to be fast, heavily armored, and carrying massive firepower. She ended up being around 248 meters long, just over 33 meters wide, and weighed close to 45,000 tons when fully loaded. Even with all that weight, she could push herself to about 32 knots thanks to 4 Parsons-geared steam turbines, powered by 6 advanced Searle oil-fired boilers producing around 155,000 shaft horsepower. Her main battery was the star of the show, 8 huge 380mm guns split into 2 quadruple turrets mounted forward of the superstructure. Each gun fired shells weighing roughly 1,900 pounds or around 860 kilograms and launched them at about 830 meters per second. At maximum elevation, they could hit targets more than 40 kilometers away. The turrets were designed so that the guns could load at almost any elevation, which gave her more flexibility in combat. They could fire around 1.3 rounds per minute, which sounds slow, but with shells that size, every shot mattered. Behind those main guns, she carried 9 153mm guns and 3 triple turrets on the rear of the ship. These guns weren't meant for big ships, but were perfect for engaging destroyers and cruisers or firing at land targets. She also had 12 100mm dual-purpose guns that could be used against ships or aircraft. Her close-range anti-aircraft defense originally relied on 37mm cannons and 13.2mm machine guns, which was good in the late 1930s, but became outdated quickly once carriers started dominating naval warfare. Her armor protection was incredibly strong for that time. Her belt armor, the thickest armor running along the middle of the ship, was about 330mm thick and angled to increase protection. Her turret faces were protected by about 430mm of armor, putting them among the best armored turrets in Europe. Her main armored deck reached around 170mm thick, with more layers below. That and her coming tower, the command center during battles, had around 340mm of armor. Richelieu was built to take hits and keep going. Unfortunately for French, she was commissioned in 1940, right as France itself was collapsing under the German blitzkrieg. Richelieu wasn't fully completed, and she suffered from mechanical issues, especially with her main turrets and secondary guns. But even unfinished, she was far too valuable to let it fall into German hands, so she made a desperate escape from Brest to Dakar in West Africa. She made this one with only her forward turret operational, but she reached Dakar safely. Once she arrived, her situation got even stranger. Richelieu found herself under Vichy French control, which meant that during the Battle of Dacre in September 1940, her first major enemy wasn't Germany. It was the British and Free French forces trying to bring Dacre over to the Allied side. Richelieu traded fires with British battleships, came under attack from swordfish torpedo bombers, and took hits, including a torpedo that damaged her propeller. She also experienced more turret malfunctions and secondary gun breakdowns, but she survived the battle and remained afloat. Over time, the political tide shifted. Richelieu officially joined the Free French, and the United States agreed to repair and remodernize her. She arrived in New York in the early 1943 and received a massive overhaul at Brooklyn Navy Yard. 3 of her 8 280mm guns had to be replaced due to barrel damage. Her entire shell handling system was reworked, including elevators, powder hoists, and electrical circuits. Because French factories were occupied, American steel foundries even built brand new 280mm shells for her, hundreds of them. The biggest transformation came from her anti-aircraft modernization. Her old French AA guns were removed, and she received a new American-style system built around the 40mm Bofors guns and the 20mm Oicron guns. After the refit, she carried 56 40mm guns in quadruple mounts and around 50 20mm cannons. This instantly turned her into a ship that could protect herself from aircraft much more effectively. She also received modern radar systems for the first time. These included the American CG-1 surface search radar, the British Type 281 air search radar, and upgraded Type 2B5 fire control radars for her AA guns. With these upgrades, Richelieu could finally detect incoming aircraft and surface ships much earlier, and her AAs could be directed with much higher accuracy. After the modernization, her displacement rose over 45,000 tons, and her crew increased to 2,000 men. Once her refit was complete, Richelieu joined the British Home Fleet for a time before being deployed to the Indian Ocean with the Eastern Fleet. There, she conducted operations against Japanese positions, including bombardment in Sumatra, Saipan, and Nicobar Islands. Early in these operations, her main batteries had serious dispersion issues, too many shells landing too far apart. Engineers eventually discovered that the timing of the guns within the turrets caused this, and they fixed it by introducing a slight firing delay between the inner and outer guns. After the fix, her accuracy improved significantly. After World War II ended, Richelieu continued serving France, including being used during operations in Indochina. By the early 1950s, she needed more repairs, especially for her engines and boilers, and she received more upgrades to her radar and electronics. But by that time, battleships were already becoming obsolete. With aircraft carriers taking over their roles, Richelieu spent the rest of her career mostly as a training ship, and then was officially retired in 1967 and was scrapped in 1968. And that's it. That's the full story of Richelieu. A ship that escaped a collapsing country, fought battles she wasn't ready for, got rebuilt across the ocean, and still managed to carve out a solid career afterwards. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, of course. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.